to our next topic, and it's going to be this. It's going to be the Bengals beat the Rams 19-16 to notch their first win. Is this win going to get them back on track? That's the question. We'll see, because they do have a game against the Titans um, coming up on Sunday, which is going to be a road game as well too. They had two home games in a row. They split those 1-1. Now they have to go back and play a team in the Titans who are pretty good. Another non-divisional game as well too, because you have to understand they gave the Bengals some of the toughest games you could start a season with. The Browns upstart defense week one, and then you had the revenge factor with Baltimore coming to Cincinnati and ruining the home opener, and Joe Burrow still being a little off with his injury and everything. But last night, Joe Burrow played through it. He's used to it now. He got an extra day of rest as well, too, by not having to play Sunday. And then he was able to help finish that game. But last night, Joe Mixon was the difference in getting those guys the victory. Joe Mixon broke through to get the go-ahead touchdown that put the Bengals in place to actually win that game last night. And by him being nice and steady all year, it's kept the Bengals somewhat decent, in my opinion. If you just go ahead and write a line and draw a line through week one and just face the fact that they played against a defense that did some great things that day, the Bengals have not been bad over the last 2 weeks offensively. They scored 20 what? They scored 20 some odd points the week before against the Ravens, and then last night they got 19, but they only gave up 16. So if you look at the way that they're giving up points right now, okay, they gave 24 opening day. They gave 27 last week. In total, that's going to be 51 points. Last night, they gave 16. That's good. That's really good. That means that the defense got the memo that they have to be much better while they wait on their offense to get into a groove. Joe Burrow is going to get good as the season goes along, but he has a hamstring injury that he should have sat out the first two games of the season with. But they could not do that after paying him all that money, because then you get everybody talking about, well, if he can walk, he can play. It ain't even about no more about is he healthy. If it's now if he can walk, if he can be able-bodied, he has to play when it comes to the quarterback now. Even though you need your legs to plant so you can make strong throws. And you have to play the quarterback position to understand that part. And when you don't get enough practice reps in, it's going to affect you in the long run, because there's a lot of scheming that's in place right now for the Bengals. And so you weren't able to be a part of the adjustments that have to get made in these games. So now you have to kind of catch up. And that's exactly what Joe Burrow did. And Joe Burrow did a great job leading his team last night. That's what you want your quarterback to be. Everybody wants their quarterback to be Captain Marvel or Spider-Man or some type of superhero. That's not what the quarterback does. The quarterback manages the team. That manages the offensive side of the ball, keeps the defense confident. That's exactly what the quarterback's job is supposed to be. And that's exactly what Joe Burrow did last night. The Rams, on the other hand, they had a game to where they had a lot of moments to where they could have scored touchdowns, but they turned into field goals. That's kind of been an ongoing saga for Sean McVay over the last few years. He's had some of the more high-end, very potent offenses in the NFL, but he has a little bit of an issue ever since Jared Goff was there with, punching it in at the goal line in games like this on the road, where they have lost games because they weren't able to score touchdowns but kick field goals. It happens. They wanted to blame a lot of this on Goff when he was there, but now you look at it and it goes back to Sean McVay, like it's always has. And last night was another Sean McVay overthink. He was overthinking, and pretty much what happened was they lost the game because he was too deep inside of his own head. And that is going to be the killer of this team moving forward if he doesn't fix that. Because the Rams have a lot of potential to shock a lot of people on going to the playoffs this year. But right now, they're a team that looks like they'll finish 7-10, 8-9. They look very middling at best. But they can bounce back from this. This is something that they needed to motivate them to be a better team going into week 4. The Bengals needed this so they can feel that they still have a chance to compete in a very tough AFC. And they already know that they're a game behind the rest of their group. You have to understand the AFC North, you have 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 1-2 Bengals. So they're already behind as is, and they're 0-2 in division play. So there's a lot of things that the Bengals have to catch up on. But it's a week by week season. It's a week by week league, and they understand that part. They were able to get their first win of the season last night. They go ahead, you celebrate that for a few minutes, and then you get yourself prepared for Tennessee. It's very simple. Same thing goes for the Rams. You lost the game last night by 3 points. You got yourself a late touchdown to get the game close. You try to give yourself a chance to win the game last night, but the Bengals finished the job and they got their sweet revenge for what happened in the Super Bowl. So we move along and you go get ready for the Colts. All in all, it was a sneaky good game last night. It didn't have all the offense that everybody loves to watch, but it did have some great defense to it, and it had some great chess play to it as well, too, where you got coaches that have to make key decisions to win these games. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward